Alright, cool. Cool. Everything looks right. Everything looks right. Cool. Alright. So, I'm going to do something a little different on this one. I am going to create an air hockey table. So, I am working on an arcade style game. You know what? Just to make things easier. And one of the arcade games is going to be an air hockey table. So, let's see what we can do about creating this bad boy. I should have all my collisions. I'll double check them. So, like for an example, one thing I have built. Now, this is very basic, but just because I got the movement going fairly well. I got a little Space Invaders thing. So, up inside the blueprint. Oh, I don't have any of the guns imported yet. But you're gonna like stand there with a little Gatling gun, right? And it like stays in place. Right? So you're shooting at these guys, and when they see, they just keep coming, and they speed up and they drop little bombs that they'll cause damage to the houses until the houses finally get destroyed. Like I said, work in progress. But for today, I am creating an air hockey table. Now, I don't have any of the materials ready for it, so we're just going to use some very basic materials. Help if I could type. Okay, so let's open this bad boy up. So, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to throw the table down. Actually, first thing we're going to do is kind of color the table a little so I can see what I'm doing. Like I said, it's not ready for materials yet. I'll just work on that and re-import it later. But all the programming will work for now. We'll give you a cool red color for now. That'll be fun. Yeah. And yeah, let's do less in your face. Still a little bit less. There you go. Alright. Yeah. I know I'm going to change it, but I'm just going to mess with it for now for a minute. I don't have any of my materials ready to go. Like nothing. I got that one in there. I just want a darker one for that. And then we'll do black glass. Well, that's weird. That should all be the same. Yeah, you know what? We'll just do that instead. Alright, now what am I missing? That thing? That thing. Alright, there we go. Alright. And then while I'm at it, because it's going to drive me nuts if I don't do it, and the goal is going to be a little different because that's going to be side dependent. But, and actually, so will the puck, or the handle. Do I have any plastics? Yeah. Got a nice blue plastic. And then we'll go green side. There we go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do green and blue, which means I should probably make this something different. Actually, you know what I should probably do? Make sure everything pops. Alright. I'm going to make it a blue and red side. I'll have the green, or the puck, green for now. And then again, a blue and a red side. Save. Perfect. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to bring in the goals. We're going to duplicate it, and we're just going to rotate that around. Alright. Both of those, no. Both of, come on now. be attached to the table. I'm just going to go ahead and rename things. So we've got the table. We've got, we'll call this blue goal, red goal. I really need to get some of my materials set up. I don't even have a red. Right, so just for now. Alright, so just real fast change color. We're going to come in here. We're going to come in here. I'm going to go to a 0. We're going to go to a 1. Darken it up a little bit more. Yeah, that'll be good. That should be good. I don't know what is... Oh man, that's what happens when I stop paying attention to it. What? Cancel. I want to save you. Didn't we already save it? No. Alright, so now I have a red. And we're going to come in here, and we're going to throw it there. Alright, cool. I mean, that should probably be a different color. Just while I'm in materials. Alright, we're going to be fancy. Whole thing's gold. There we go. Alright, so now I'm also going to want one of these for each side. So we'll go... Alright, so then both of those are in there. We're going to color you red. Alright, and this is the boring part, getting everything set up properly. But once we do, we're just going to call it -1, 05. We'll call you 105. Alright, and then we need to bring in... No, we're not going to bring in our puck yet. We're actually going to make our puck a separate blueprint. That way we can do cool things with it. Alright, okay. So first thing I want to do, we need to set up our goals. So, we're going to add a box collision. Yeah, we're going to make sure you overlap all. Just make it super simple. And then we're going to call it 5. I probably don't even need that. We'll call it 3. And then we'll call it... Perfect. And then let's look at it from the side. Alright. Call it more like there. Yeah. Alright, so that works perfect. I will just call it the blue box. Duplicate. Change it to the red box. Alright, so this is what's going to... the puck is going to overlap with. It's going to register it, and it's going to score a goal, and display the goal up there. So, now that we got some collision boxes, let's actually do a little bit of work on it. So, blue box. First thing we're going to do is on component begin overlap. We are going to cast to the puck. Make sure the puck is the other actor. And now in the puck, we want to give this a command we can reference. So we are going to go to custom event. We're going to call this, and we'll use that for when the game is over and the was hit. Right now we're just going to destroy the actor. We'll do all the animation and stuff in a minute, but right now I just need something to access. Okay, so if the blue box overlaps with the puck, it's going to do two things. First off, we need to add a variable. We're going to make it an integer because I don't need any decimal points, and we're going to call this blue point. I guess grammatically correct, I should call it blue points. Red point. Okay. So if the blue box gets overlapped, we're going to set the red point at 1 higher, because that means the red guy got a point. Alright, so the first thing we do is we give a point, and we'll register the point in a second. Actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and register the point on the screen right now. So, I would like to add text. And we will just duplicate this later for the other side, but for right now, I just want it displayed. What is this, front? No. Right? Yes. Okay. Couple things need to change on this. First off, we want it center. We're going to change the size down to 10. Yeah, 10 works good. We're going to change the number to be a 0. Okay, perfect. 10 works good. We can make it bigger than that. And what's a 10 look like? Because we'll play to 10. Yeah, we'll probably play to 10. Perfect. So we're going to call this red. This is where we'll put that S in to... there we go. Get rid of that error for having the same name. See, there's a method to my madness. There's really not. There's really not. Okay. So, first thing we do is we're going to set the red points. We're going to add 1. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to update the red points. So we're going to set the text right there. We're going to set the text with the red point text. Actually, I don't even need that. I'm going to get a reroute node right in there. Okay, so the second thing we're doing is we're setting that. I'll organize all this in a minute. Okay. Okay, so then we're going to do a branch. Because did he just win? Are the red points more than 10? Because we're going to play up to 10 as a total, at least for now. Yes. Okay, so if false, we are going to... For now... Yeah, we're going to do a... No. For now, we're just going to respawn it. And I can add in the delays. So right now, we're going to respawn the puck. And I'm going to go back through. That's not the right word. Puke. Okay. Compile, save, viewport. And it should actually... I have an error. What's my error? Oh yeah, I have to get the transform. We're going to get the tables transform. Alright. That'll go there. Compile. Save. Okay. Ooh. The one thing I did forget. Let's... Yeah, we're going to do all this first. We're going to do that there. We're going to do that there. And so off of this, I need to get the kill order. I'll take care of any outside animations or like exit animations. Okay, that's a mess right now. So give me a second. Okay. So, here's what we got. Which is real fast. So, we're going to use the puck as a separate blueprint. Just makes it a little easier to communicate. I can spawn it in, destroy it, get rid of it, everything like that. So on the air hockey table, I have the puck lined up in its static mesh where it spawns dead center, right? So, on the event graph, to begin the game, we'll spawn in the puck and then bounce it back and forth. And right now, we are assuming the puck overlaps the blue box, which means the red guy hit it in. So we're giving red guy points. So, on the blue box, component begin overlap. Make sure our blue box allows overlap. Yep, component begin overlap. Cast to puck. So we want to make sure it's the puck that's overlapping it. If it is, first thing we're going to do is give the kill order. And now the box should be far enough in. Yeah, see, the puck will have to actually like go inside. Just back that back up. So I shouldn't have to worry about too much of it like glitching out. I have the collision further back in the pocket. So first thing we do is we give the kill order to the puck. Second thing we do is we are going to set the red points. I'm just going to organize this out a little bit while I do it. We're going to set the red points +1 to what they actively have. Red points +1, red points. Next thing we're going to do, once we have the red points updated, is we're going to display the red points. We'll display it on both sides, but right now I'm just showing it for right there for now. And then the fourth thing we're going to do is check and see if that addition to points wins the game. Right? +10 is the points, more than 10. If it's not more than 10, then it's going to come in and it's going to spawn at the table at its dead center a new puck. And then the game begins again. So what I need to do is I need to set up some spawn animations or spawn things with the puck. So first thing we're going to do is give it a grow option. We are going to give this a float. We're going to call this size. And this is what's going to control the whole size of it. Alright, so we're going to set world scale, not the default scene root. I'm just going to use the hockey puck for now. And then the world scale is going to be the size of this, right? So size becomes size. We're going to start at 0. So let's shrink this guy down to 0. Alright. So the only thing I'm using this gate for is making the puck grow. So we want to get size. I already have size. We want to set size. Plus. And so an event tick goes every 0.02 seconds. So this is going to be really quick. And let's try that fast. I want this to be a long drawn out thing. We'll set that there. We'll set that there. We'll do that there. Now, I need something to tell it to start. So just to make sure it all looks good, we'll get a begin play to open it. And then we need something to stop it. So when the size equals or greater than 1, you know what? I'm actually going to link that in here. And if it's not greater than 1, then we'll set the size to that. If it is greater than 1, then we'll set everything to 1. But this is going to need a sequence off of it, because I need it to, first off, do that. And we need it to close this. Okay, that is definitely a jumbled mess. So, starting at the beginning, why do we have a bad blueprint? What's bad? Oh, I don't have a target on you. My bad. That is bad. There you go. So, if this has worked, alright, so the event tick is what powers a gate. So that gives it constant power. But the begin play is what opens the gate. It says you can go. So it's like a stop go kind of thing. When the gate fires on every event tick, the first thing we're going to do is set the size a hair bigger. And we can adjust that a little bit later. The second thing we're going to do is see if this size is more than 1. Because if it is more than 1, or if it's not more than 1, then we can keep the process going. We just set this to what it is. So if it's 0.5, then it's like half the size of what it should be, and it can continue growing. If it is 1, then we first off want to stop the gate, and we secondly want to make sure that the size stays at 0. So there's got to be a way to make this look a little nicer. Give me a second here, because that is going to drive me nuts. Alright, yeah, just a couple reroute nodes work absolute wonders. Just bring it down a little so everything stays nice and straight. Alright. I don't want that overlapping. There we go. That gives me a nice differential. Alright, and then I can do that. I can do that. That's just my converter to turn a float into a size transform thing. I don't know exactly what it is. But assuming everything worked, that should be proper coding. So let's first off take the hockey puck. Let's secondly bring it right here. Save and play. And boom, just like that, it spawned in. Now is that too? Let's smooth that out a little bit. I'm going to shrink it down. About half the speed. Boom. Perfect. Okay. 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 Now here's the nice thing. I can give a live command. We're just going to call it begin life. Begin life is going to replace my open. Now over here, this is where we spawn it in. So I can now come over here and tell it to begin life. So now what this means is when this spawns in, it does what I tell it to do, right? Like it does whatever begin life means. So right now, all that does is it opens up the gate. So it says it can do this. But what we can do is we can add a couple things. So first off, let's put a sequence. First thing I want to do is we're going to move component 2. Now this is just some simple animation stuff that I think will be fun. We're going to move the puck. This gets a little funky when there's zeros. I want it about here. 35. Perfect. Okay, I will move all these back to zeros. But we're going to start it at a 35. So the first thing it does is move down to 0. We're going to do it over a second. That should work nice. and then split struct pen. So I wanted to change targets. No. Okay, so what I'm trying to think of is when it spawns in, I don't want it just sitting in the center of the table, right? Because then everybody's like leaning over. I want it to pick a direction and just start moving. And you know what? That might work best if I tell it to just pick a random direction and give it an impulse. So then I don't pick sides. It just picks a random direction and there's an impulse. That might work. Or, what are the rules of air hockey? It goes in, so I would get it. So then it actually needs to go to... Okay. So... Now, this is going to be a little bit... No, I don't need it under this. Okay. I'm not speaking clearly. Okay. So if it goes in the red side, it should pop up on the blue side. So then what we should do is we should break this, split struct pen, split struct pen. So my scale is going to be the same, my rotation is going to be the same, my location is going to be the difference. And it's simply going to be a y-axis, one side or the other. So then what I want to do is I want to add an extra variable, and we're going to call it location. Now, where does the puck need to go? And it'll be the same on both sides. I just got to figure out its actual location in the world. There it is. So I'm going to want it to pop up like, we'll call it 95. That looks about right. And we can make some, no. Pop it at about an 80. Call it an 80. Okay. So before it goes over there, if it's coming off of blue box, we're going to set location to 80. Oops. 80. I'll keep that up here for now. And then we'll just bring location. Oh, you know what? I gotta change it to a float or I'm gonna have all that reroute crap. Yeah, that works. So that's the only thing I gotta change there. Perfect. Set location, get location. And that's gonna control its back and forth. Okay. So if I've done this right, it's 80. Okay. So now what we've added into this is instead of just spawning it back, it changes the location of its spawn point to be on the blue player's side when red guy gets a point. So it goes in here, it disappears, we add a point, and then it spawns right back there. And we'll just copy everything for the red side and just invert all the directions. Okay, so now that actually takes care of that. Basically, yeah, that just basically takes care of that. And then all we need is for this to move down. I don't need that. Go into the open. Now, here's the question. What's the timing on it? So right now I have it where it just drops down. And I want it to kind of drop down with the size. Well, nothing happened. Right, because I took away begin play. So I have to keep begin play in here since nothing's actively activating it. Like nothing's spawning it in. It's just a test run. And for some reason, oh, there it is. Oh, jeez. I went ahead of myself, didn't I? And again, we always clean this up after it works. Okay, so that works out nice. So I can actually move that a little bit quicker. Let's see if we did a 0.7. So I like the speed of the... Love it. Perfect. Okay. So I don't need this, and we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. Let's make sure everything works right. Yeah. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is move that over a little bit. Oops. Alright, so I'm just going to have these run underneath everything. And I'm going to have this one come up over here. And it kept that other one, so we're just going to replace that. So this is all still just coming off this air hockey puck. So I'm keeping the default scene route dead center of the map. Well, dead center of wherever it spawns, because it shouldn't have anything there. And when I make this the actual static mesh part of the scene route, or actually replace the default scene route, I have some collision issues sometimes. So this just seems to work. And it destroys itself every time you get a point. So I'm not going to have any of these built up. So let's figure out how to put this over here nice and neat. First thing, get you out of the way. You have a nice little path right here. We might move you to the top, though. Alright. And I don't care how far over that has to go. Actually, we could just do that right there. And then this just comes right there. And then this just comes right there. Is there any way to squeeze this in? Can't really squeeze it any lower. Okay. But that should work for it. Now, that's my kill order. So I'm pretty well going to do the same thing for the kill order. Or just shrink it out of existence. A little bit quicker, but then at the end of the game, you don't get any confusing. Oh, it's still there, and I almost got a point. Okay, so air hockey. That's our location. All of that should work. So first thing we need to do is take the puck out. Now, let's put the table here. Bring the table up a little bit. Alright. Air hockey table, viewport, boom, delete. Okay. Now on begin play, we're just going to do that. My current location is 0, so this should spawn dead 0. Play. Why? What is this? What is it? Why did you go all the way over there? What is this? Why did it spawn all the way over there? Do we have weird collisions? No, my collisions look pretty good. Okay. See, this is why we test things. Alright. What happens if I just bypass that? I just say, do everything the way it should be. Well, and then it goes there. Okay, okay. So the problem is this is getting like a world number instead of a local where I can do the 0. So all I have to do is I have to take the world. No. Then I can never rotate it. Hmm. Okay. So if I take whatever it is and I add, I'm not sure if this is going to work. See, this is why I don't do like tutorial videos. I am just having fun with this. Okay. So let's see what that does. That spawns it there. So then if we turn location into 80, it spawns it there. Now, if I rotate it, is it still going to do that? No, it will always have to be in that spot. Unless I convert it. Oh, well, this is an easy fix. Okay, okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of all that. I'm going to say get world transform. So this will make it where it just spawns directly on top of wherever I tell it to spawn. Like whatever I tell it to spawn on. Okay? That works for that. Compile, save. Well, I'll save it later. I'm going to add an arrow as a location point. So now the arrow is going to get attached to the table. Compile, save. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to set the relative location to 80. And we're just going to teleport. It has no collisions or anything like that. And then that should work. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to also use the arrow here. Okay. So instead of trying to do all that back and forth, like adding stuff, because relative versus world location kind of messes up, I'm just going to move an arrow back and forth. So I have this arrow. When it goes into the blue side, it's going to move to here. When it goes into the red side, it's going to move to the other side. And I'm just going to bypass all that math and communication stuff simply by doing that. So that should work there. Let's see. Let's see what we have. Perfect. And now can I select that? I can. Can I test our goal? It works. Look at that. It works. Every time it goes in, it works. I love it. Love it. Okay. So now, right now, it has no physics on it. So what I want to do is I want to come over here when I finish the cycle. Okay? So remember, this is increasing its size. No, you know what? Does it, if it's, I want it when it lands, I think. Yeah, as soon as it lands. Okay. When landing is complete, okay, so now I can simulate physics on it. So that's going to make it bounce around and everything. Now, I'm going to keep it on the table by simply locking its X position. So that's the up and down. So I'm locking the X position of the piece. Now, will that mess with it spawning in? No. Okay. It does. So now, can I just hit lock? Set constraint mode. So if I just do that, instead, whoops, why in the world would I close my detail panels? And then I can do that. Now that brings it down. Can I move it up? I cannot move it up, but I can also not move it anywhere else. Oh, because physics are simulated. Of course, of course. Okay. Okay. I'm going to assume this works, because there's absolutely no reason for it not to work, which is usually when it doesn't work. But for right now, we're going to call that code successful. And we're just going to bring you out. Just in case you become our issue, I want a quick reference. There we go. Okay, so that's the puck. So now on the table, oh good lord, I gotta organize this out. Okay, so quick recap. Component begin overlap. That component is the box inside the goal. If it touches the puck, first thing it's gonna do is gonna cast the kill order on the puck. We're gonna bring this over here just so I can see everything. Second thing we're gonna do is set the text right there. Third thing, wait, no, not second thing is text. Second thing is setting the points. Third thing is the text. And then we're going to set the relative location of the arrow. And then we're going to do our branch check. Ooh, that's a nice little list. Okay. Well, bring you over a little bit. Bring you over a little bit. And we'll balance you out. I think you'll work there. Yeah, actually, you'll look nice right there. That gives me a good little view there. Okay. First thing I want to do is find a spot for you. We're going to call you there. Looking pretty good there, nice and organized. Okay, so after we do all that, our check, we see if it's more than 10 points. If it's 10 points, red player wins. We'll do that in a minute. If it's not 10 points, then we spawn another puck. Now, how do we know where to spawn the puck? Because we set the location right there of the arrow. And then we'll just do that right there. And then we'll just do that right there. That works. I don't know if it'll stay, but let's straighten some of this out. This is driving me a little nuts. Alright, that works out nice. And then all this is our begin life for the new puck. Okay, compile, save. So that's our cycle there. Now I'm going to need to take all of this, repeat it, and flip it around. So let's take that. We are going to go to red box. Make sure you are on overlap all. On component begin overlap, we're going to bring you up here. Make sure our object is the other actor. So we're going to set blue points. We are going to set blue points. We are going to set blue points. Arrow still works. And then we're going to set a negative on that. Now, I don't like repetitive coding. So we're going to bypass this. I'm going to get rid of all this, and all that. Alright. So since I'm, well, I still need that pen. Since I'm accessing the same command, which is this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over as its own... No, because I need that. I still need that. Okay. Ah, see. Thank God for the undo button. Okay. I'm just going to delete this then. Because I still need to run my check and see if the player won. If the player didn't. Alright. So I just moved the arrows back into location. We're still doing the same thing with those. But instead of having this spawn twice, if blue player, or if red player did not win, it spawns it in. If blue player did not win, it spawns it in. And where does it spawn it in from? It spawns it in from the arrow. Alright, that should work out quite well. Alright, so I can actually bring this up a little bit. Because I'll need both of those going to a... I'm just double checking and making sure everything looks right. Move this up here a bit. Bring this in here. And then, yeah, say setting up points for the other side. That's simple. And then I'll group both of these together. Let's see if I can get them looking kind of nice. I'm going to use that line there as a... Perfect. Alright, so let's put a comment on that. First off, let's make the comment something we can actually read. We're going to do it at a 30. We're going to call this... add points. I don't need a hyphen here. Points to game. Alright, so this just makes it so we know what we're doing. Right? Or, yeah, we can just do a quick reference. Alright. Red points, blue points. Red, blue, red, blue. Perfect. Everything looks good. Okay. Now, we'll do the in-game cycle in a minute. I want to... now, I created a grab component that I just call activation. And I'll show you how easy it is. It's super easy. Blue handle has blue grab. Where's red handle? Ah, my eyes are crossing. Okay, so, or action. That's what it's called, is action. So, the only thing I did for that inside of my grab component. Okay, first off, what is it called? Just Enu or something like that? What is it called? Oh, I don't remember what it's called. Hold on. Yeah, it's this. Enu, E-N-U. Okay, so I came in here, and I just said add, right? Because I have, you start off with free and snap, I believe. So I just hit add, right? That's all I do here. Then you go into your grab component, and it's going to open up this extra action here, right? So inside of try grab, you want to bring it down and put is held, right? Because once you do all of this over here, somewhere in here it does the is held action. Is that something I added on? That's not something I added Yeah, no. Is held should still be in here because I wouldn't have called it is held. Yeah, I'd have called it something else. So I just made sure that we got an is held uh, node checked off when you activate, and then on release, same thing. Switch on grab, come down here and set is held to no. So basically, all that does is it makes it so that this grab component, when I grab it, it activates. Whatever I tell it to activate, it activates. And then when I let go, it deactivates. So I'm going to use this for like buttons, sliding panels, things like that. So what I'm going to use it for in this game is I want to keep these on the table. So I'm going to tell it to follow when it's activated and held. It's going to follow the player's hand. And that'll move it back and forth across the table, but I'm going to eliminate the z-axis. So that way, instead of using like a snap where you have to hold it on the table, I'm mimicking a grab component where it like moves around. But that way I can tell it to stay on the table. I'm using the same thing for a joystick on a flying simulator, the throttle, so I can move it back and forth. It's coming in really handy. So let's start with that. First on grab. Now I used a couple nodes that I don't remember, so I'm actually just gonna go over to the joystick. There it is. Alright. What did I use under my joystick? So, on the grab, it came down here, world location, inverse transform, that's what it is. Okay, so I'm just going to grab all of this. No, this is on blue grab. So I'm going to put the blue handle there. Okay. This is rotation. No, I don't want rotation. I just want the world location. Give me a second. I'm using a node. That I don't actually know how to use. Alright, I want... Ooh, I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay. Oh, wow. I gotta really get better at describing what I'm doing. Okay. So if I've done this right, and there might be a potential problem in this, and that's what testing phase is for. First on dropped, which I will do in just a minute on this one. Okay. So, same thing as before, we're going to use an event tick to go into a gate. I used a sequence here just because I know I'm going to do it in at least one other place. So what I want to do is I want to take the location of the hand and turn it into a relative location for the handle. Because hold on, what did that do? Oh yeah, that used an entirely different target. So give me just a second. I just realized I have something to do. There we go. Okay. So I want to take the location of the hand, which is a world location. Get world location. Convert it into a relative location that matches the default scene root, which is the center of the table. So basically, it'll take wherever I put this, it'll turn wherever my location that I'm holding my hand in the world to 0 by 105 by 35, right? Or whatever, wherever the location is. Now, from that, if I just left the Z, then it would always match my hand, right? But if I take the Z and break it and keep it at 0, then its relative location should only move back and forth and side to side, if that works proper. Now, I'm also going to need to set up a couple limits on it. So, let's call it 118 to 25 to 118. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Clamp. We'll turn that down. Okay. 25 and 118. Okay. So I don't want it going up and down, but I also don't want the player like pulling it way back here. I want it to stay on the table, right? So the farthest they'll be able to pull it back is at 118. And the farthest they'll be able to push it forward is going to be at 25. And just in case, you know what? Let's just in case move it up to like a 12. But I don't want them like going across the table for any reason. So just if they can get there. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take their Y position and put a clamp on it. So now, no matter where the hand is, it can't go past 15, which will be towards the center, and it can't go past negative 118, which will be off the back. So now I'm going to do a very similar thing for the back and forth, because I don't want it going off the sides of the table. So, oops, I keep clicking the wrong button. Now, the side, we're going to call it 67 and negative 67. Okay. Now, which one was it? It was on blue. Okay, so that, let's recap. First time I grab it. As soon as I grab, that's my activation. I open up this gate. This gate sets the relative location of the handle. So, it gets its location because we get the world location of the hand, convert it into the default scene root's world location, get the transform from that, do our limitations on it so that the handle thing doesn't go flying everywhere, and set relative location. Keep it on teleport, and that should work. This should work. Alright, so now let's do a hair of cleanup. We kept this one pretty clean. I'm going to test this and see if it works. Now, the only way to really test this is going to be to do that there. Alright. Give me a second. I gotta get everything. I should be able to. Alright. Alright. So this should be working. I haven't double checked all my sizes or anything, so everything might be a little off on size. That'll be corrected in detail work. Right now, I am focusing on making the functions behave properly. Alright, so what I need to do is I need to come over here. Oh, I guess I should add in my VR pod. Alright, let's see what this does. What in the world? Oh, right. Oh, I forgot. I was testing my ship out. Alright, hold on. I forgot about that. There we go. Let's try that again, shall we? Alright. Oh, it's because I'm kneeling down, I think. Let's reset my view. There we go. Oh, I gotta move back a little bit. I got my wall or something blocking me. That's one downside to VR in a small room. There we go. Now that's not... I can feel it activating, but it's not setting up the location. Why is it not setting the location? What if I do that? Do I just need it to be that? I don't think that's gonna be it. I really don't think that's gonna be it. I have serious doubts. Oh, come on. I haven't set up any of my locomotion yet, so that's still not. Well, the thing is, if I just set it to have a snap component on it, there is something it is not getting from this. Alright, so I'm going to go back and check my joystick fast. And this might just have to be something we revisit on another day. Because I don't understand. Set relative rotation. And this is set relative location. Maybe my clamps are messing something up. I don't know what my clamps could be messing up. But let's test this out. Let's just see what happens, shall we? Oh, I can't quite reach it. That doesn't make any sense. So what would happen if I just turned it into a snap component? Right? Like, what if I just broke that, and then blue grab, and then just turn it into a snap? Can I still grab it? I should be able to grab it. If I can still grab it, that's at least going to tell me I'm on the right track. I just got something wrong with my command. Oh gosh, I gotta reach all the way over here. No. Now that's interesting. Those are probably going to have to be blueprints themselves. Okay. So I think the problem is I'm working on a blueprint inside a blueprint. So I probably am going to need to make these independent blueprints. Compile, save. So we're going to take out... You know what? I think that's a good stopping point today. Just to recap, I've got the point system registering. I've got the physics on the actual thing. Should be working. I've got my goalpost set up. I've got my limitations figured out, but I just can't... Wait a minute. Do I have these locked? I don't know. No, they're not locked. That's just the strangest thing. Just the strangest thing. I don't know. Okay, but that is going to be it for today. I will